it's Gil. This is Burkland Gardens. We're in the greenhouse because it's really windy outside, so sound quality will be pretty bad today. So we just brought a few of the larger plants. These are one-of-a-kind ones, and I'm gonna hold on to these because we're gonna be grafting on them next year. And so Dave Helms is here today, and you might hear him in the background. I don't know if he'll get into the video, but we're just talking about some grafting for next year on black pines and all the other firs and spruces and other things that he has available. So right here we've got a Picea abies. It's a Norway spruce called Waldbrun, and there's going to be some shots of the trunk. It just most likely is not grafted, and it was shown to a top conifer person in Oregon, and it's definitely not a grafted one. So there's no graft union on it. Just an awesome trunk. The color is outstanding. Just probably was discovered in Germany. It has that that name that goes with it. So what a outstanding older example of the Picea abies Waldbrun. And then just moving a little bit to my left on the table here, we have a Mugo Pine. There's lots of different Mugos out there, but an old version of it called Benjamin. Very, very tight, low growing, like a lot of Mugos, fairly prominent little waxy buds, which is really nice. And the trunk is just so outstanding with it, nice and thick, and it would do well in the ground or in a large pot. So either one of these should go into a container or a box or in the ground. Moving along just a little bit, farther to my left is a Korean Fir. A lot of people are familiar with Silverlock and Icebreaker, and then there's Silver Pearl and all those. This one's called Oberon, and I don't think this one is grafted either. It may be, but it's really hard to tell. There's no real swelling on this one here, just a tiny bit there, but it's not showing it. It's been cleaned out. Keep the needles cleaned out. Has a nice silvery underside of the foliage. It shows lots of tiny little buds. These trees are, guesstimate on all of them at least 20 years old. So it would be a nice addition to any landscape or display in a container. Just something really interesting to look at. When they have these nice thick trunks and thick limbs, it's really, interesting to look at. So I'm gonna bring up just kind of a deciduous conifer, which I'll put it right here, and we'll scoot that back a little bit. So this is a Don redwood, Metasequoia glyptostroboides. North Lights. It's also called Sherman's Nordlicht. It grows slowly and in somewhat upright, more shrubby type form. And the foliage is just outstanding. It has a bit of a variegation in it. It's very subtle, but really love this plant. I have 3 here in the nursery. I don't know. I would love to have more of these available, for sale, because I think they're outstanding in the landscape. Nice branching. The bark is very interesting, and we'll say very small for, the species of the tree is quite large, but this one here in comparison will stay more like a shrub or very, very small tree. So continuing on, we do have a second-year graft on it, a cork bark Japanese black pine, and Dave Helms and I were overlooking at some of the ones that my neighbor has that I sell here at the nursery, and he's looking at grafting some of them. There are cultivar names on a lot of them, of the cork barks, and they'll have slightly different characteristics. So this one here, we don't have a name on. We're just calling it a cork bark. You still see the understock still on it. We haven't cut it off yet. It can be reduced a little bit. The buds are swelling. So again, this is its second year since it was grafted. It's in its second year. So looking at maybe doing as many as 500 cork barks next year. And then there's, how many cork barks did you do this year, Dave? At least two, maybe close to 300 cork barks this year, and some of those should be available, and I'll have some announcements on what we might be doing with our young grafts this coming fall. So so we'll make further announcements as that gets closer and we see what our numbers are on different grafted conifers and the black pines. But just things that are really hard to get a hold of, and we would be shipping those in band pots. And again, I'll talk more about that in future videos. So in my greenhouse, we've got a little section for pines, for spruces and firs, and this is our pine section here. I've got some Japanese white pines on the ground right in here. This was going to go to Oregon, but that deal fell through. So I've got these miniature Japanese white pines like Miyajima, Catherine Elizabeth, Regenhold, Bergman, Barron, just to name a few. And I don't have a large inventory of them, but these will all be for sale. We've got some Heldrichii, Bosnian pines. Got one that's got some gold in it. I don't have very many of those. Got some Pinus sylvestris in here, Pinus flexulis, Vanderwoofs over to the right a little bit, and a little bit of this and that. I think this one is probably a Manxiana. This is Uncle Fogey. If you want something that's kind of twisty and interesting, it's even got cones right down near the graft there. So these kind of do their own little thing. You can see the contorted part of the limbs here. Some will grow a little more flat, or they'll grow up and just do just have some movement going on in it. I always have some Carson's Winter Gold. They're kind of spread around here, and a few Mugos. Got a variety of trees in this area here. I've got a lion's head Japanese maple, Shishigashira, that I air layered almost 5 years ago now, and we may go ahead and do some more air layering on that one. And then there's just some Alaska weeping cedars. There's some coastal redwoods, Kelly's prostrate, mountain hemlocks, a few different mountain hemlocks. Got, again, the Alaska weeping cedar, but sparkling arrow, which is a nice little variegated, give you a bright spot with an upright, slender habit. And then ginkgo's back here. I've got Luis, and then we have quite a few 1 gallon ginkgos that are going to be available, and we'll get a video out, availability on what we have available this year. Ginkgos are very popular. They're popular at the Flower and Garden Show. Sold quite a few of them. So just little varieties. Got little hemlocks, miniature ones down there, Canadian hemlocks. So I think we got Bergman's Helly, I think it is. That one's just Pendula. Got Pendula, Bergman's, and several others. One more tree I want to talk about before we end the video is we looked at some Alaska weeping cedars and Cupressus nucantensis. We looked at sparkling arrow, and then I have some Glauca pendulas here. Well, I've got some larger Glauca pendulas out by the barn, and they'll be in the video, and we'll shoot that, and it'll be while I'm narrating this. But one of my favorite plants, and it's been popular for years because it's narrow, very hardy, certainly in our area and around other areas too. And you can triangulate them, meaning that you could do them in groups of 3s or even more, but also just one would work fine, or you can do them as anchors, one at opposite ends of a yard. So very versatile plant, and have something narrow. And Glauca pendula is nice and full, where green arrow puts its branches out, little arms like that. So so there's different forms of Alaska weeping cedars, but one of my favorites and really popular, and they're for sale here at the nursery. So with that, we're just going to end the video today, and thanks for joining us, and we'll hope you join us next week for a little more content as the weather starts to warm up. The nursery's going to get quite busy over starting in the next week or two as the weather warms up and spring is on its way, and daylight saving time starts this weekend. So join us next week, and if you're in the area, live in this area, and you get to the nursery, love to have you visit. Thanks.